this is Angel Leah, and I'm back with more plotting of Illumia. My first video was a bit rambly, so I'm going to try to see if I can pare that down a little bit, but we'll see. Alright, so the last time I was just kind of talking about my ideas for the story and stuff. It's just kind of random stuff as it came to mind. So now I've got to kind of buckle down and come up with the three major plot points, because kind of going by the 3-act structure, you have one at the 25% mark that kind of pushes the protagonist into the action, and then one at the 50% mark, which is kind of like the centerpiece of the whole story. It's kind of the heart, the crux, the somewhat of an aha moment. And then you have the 75% mark on the story, and that's going to be the final battle, the big clash. So and that's just rough estimates. So we're starting off with Estrella. She's in Illumia. She's been contacted by her father, and he is going to tell her that she's in danger. So that's gonna, take up probably a chapter or so. But the thing is, for Estrella, she's not going to be real keen to believe her father, because obviously he hasn't been in her life her whole life, and at least not that she's felt or seen, and he kind of took advantage of her mom, so she's very not keen on him, to be honest. And she doesn't want to believe that it's true that she'll have to be on the run for her life, obviously. So she's in a bit of a denial right there, which falls in line with everything. But at about the 25% mark, I want an actual attempt on her life to be made. And I'll figure that out a little later on. But I want an actual attempt on her life. I want her to be in mortal danger, like, watch someone die in front of her kind of a thing. Just make it super dramatic. And she realizes she has to go. She has to do what her father's asking her to do, and she's going to be joined by him, which she's not excited about. So she's going to be resisting this the whole way. Alright, but that attempt on her life is going to solidify her decision. She's going to have to move her butt at that point. Alright, so then at the 50% mark, probably through that first 25 to 50% area, Estrella's going to be traveling, obviously, through the land. I think at the 50% mark, I really want to play out Windmane's part of the story here. Instead of Estrella's, because I feel like it's good to have the different books need something else. So the first one was about Estrella's revelation, about her own self, was the centerpiece, and then that she's a half-moon elf, that her dad really isn't her dad, that she doesn't belong with that was the centerpiece for the first book. So this second book, I want to focus on Windmane, because Gander the elf, his addiction's going to probably take a little bit longer than this book to kind of sort out, because he's going to have to struggle with really wanting to come off, I think, before we can actually get him off of the Dragonfey dust. So this book will focus more on Windmane and his arc. So in the 50% mark, Windmane left his herd because he didn't want to become a stud. So something significant has to happen here with Windmane kind of realizing that running away from his problems doesn't make him go away, I think. Because the theme of the whole thing is wanting to belong. And so Gander and Estrella and Windmane are all on different sides of it. Windmane doesn't want to belong. He doesn't want to fit in with his herd because he's done with it. And Gander has been rejected, but he doesn't really care. Whereas Estrella has been rejected and she really does care. Gander kind of shrugs it off like it doesn't matter, even though it does to him. So they're all kind of different sides of the same coin in that whole theme of wanting to belong and stuff. So I can't, like I said, I'm not sure exactly what I want to do for Windmane here, but it's gonna be something about the belonging, wanting to belong, needing to restructure his thinking, because he's not better off without the herd, I guess, is kind of the thing. They kind of pigeonholed him in to the whole stud thing, but that doesn't mean that you should just run away from the problem. You know, you should try and work it out, and he kind of just bailed. So I guess this is kind of the gist of the story there. All right, and then the 75% mark. So we travel through the lands. The first land is going to be the dragon land, and I'm going to have a hatchery. They're going to leave the mountains for the hatchery, and that's going to be in the path that Estrella needs to take to visit everybody. All right, so Dragonlands first, and then she's going to go through the fields, and that's where we're going to encounter Windmane's problems there. And then the third area is going to be the fairy forests. And at some point I do want her there at night, because that'll be pretty. It's pretty in my head. So then at the 75% mark is where I want Estrella to realize that, right around the 75% mark is where Estrella realizes that the moon elves aren't all gone. She's not lost or alone, but they've been, a lot of them have been murdered, but a lot of them are trapped in kind of like a mountain or something. I haven't quite figured that out. But she's going to find out that that they're still alive, that they've been trapped, and that what's her face? Shia, the Dragon Fae, is behind it. And so this is going to lead into the third book, which the third book is about Estrella kind of coming head to head with Shia at this point, and realizing that Shia has poisoned her land, and Shia has wronged the mythics, and Shia has basically has it out for Estrella. So that's going to be the third book is dealing with the Gander thing and dealing with the Shia thing, and that'll be the direct on confrontation. That's the final confrontation. So that kind of gives me the first little bit of what I'm going to be doing for book 2. and obviously after she discovers the moon elves, I don't think she's going to be able to save them, but she'll have to save herself from where they are, because obviously it's going to be something, it'll trap her. Obviously if she goes in and sees them, she's going to become trapped too, because she's part moon elf. So whatever that is, I know this is really vague, like, what are you doing, child? Whatever that is she's going to have to fight her way out. She's not going to be able to save everyone else until she confronts Shia, which will be book 3. And I think we might have to leave Daddy behind, but she'll, in that moon elf thing, if Daddy gets stuck, I think that'll be a catalyst for her kind of forgiving him. You know, obviously he's going to be working towards that, you know, just throughout the book, but I think that the moon elf scene, when she has to battle out of there, in order to give the moon elves hope that they can rejoin the world, she'll have to lose her father in the process and realize just how much, how important he has become to her, despite the mistakes that he's made. And you know, he's made some pretty big mistakes in my book, but he's bad actions, right motivation, kind of a thing. So that'll be interesting. I keep saying that. Rambling. Sorry. Yeah, it's just there's a lot of thoughts going through my head as what I need to do. But yeah, so life at the castle. She doesn't want to leave, obviously. Then someone tries to kill Estrella, so she has to leave. She travels to the Dragonlands and learns more about Shia there. And I think we'll run back into Arxo, the dragon who kind of compelled her to take on the responsibilities of being mouthpiece to the mythics, and that will uncover more of Windmane's involvement, because Windmane is a little deeper in this than he's let on. He's kind of, yeah, he's way deeper in this than he's let on. So I'm going to have to discover that. And then the 50% is going to be Windmane and the Unicorn Fields. I don't know if I'll keep these names, but this makes sense right now. The Unicorn Fields. And him finding out that the desire to belong isn't so bad after all, kind of a thing, because you kind of need people, I guess. And then the fairy forests, which is where I want to reveal that Gander's been following them. He's not invited this time around, because he's got to get his crud together. But and he's still under Shia's command at this point, because he's still hooked. So he'll be following Estrella and Windmane and her father, which is Solar. Gander will be following them again, and reporting back to Shia until he gets sick of it. And I think he's going to show up in the fairy forests, and basically tell Estrella that he's got some things that he has to take care of before he can be what she needs him to be, or something along those lines. But we're going to be dealing a little bit with Gander's addiction here, between the 50 and 75% mark, and then the Moon Elves, discovering them, battling out discovery and battle. And then the end is going to be setting up for book 3, which will be coming up with a plan to deal with Shia. Plan for Shia. She knows what she's up against and who she's up against. But obviously there's going to be some struggle in getting that accomplished. And she's without her dad, and she's without Gander. So all she has is Windmane. I might find a way to strip him away from her too. At least for a time. I don't know, I might, I'll have to think about that, if I want to strip him away or if I want to keep him with her. Because she almost needs that constant, just because she does struggle so badly with wanting to belong. She kind of needs Windmane as that constant, so I might leave him. And he wouldn't just go willy-nilly back to the herd either. So yeah, so he'll stay with her. She's been stripped away of her father. She's been stripped away of Gander, and she has no way back to her family that she knows of, and she's in mortal danger. So that's a wonderful way to leave her at the end of book 2, right? But she'll have discovered what she's up against. So that's the resolution in this book, is kind of uncovering all the rocks and laying pretty much all the cards on the table. Obviously she's going to have to do more in order to do the final battle in book 3, but this is kind of her cards on the table moment in that she knows where she's going here forward, even though she's still far away from being done. So that gives me a pretty good list of how I want things to progress, and I'll be expanding from there, I think, on different scenes and just trying to come up with the different scenes that I want to move this story forward. But you kind of, at this point, there's a little bit of you can kind of see the arc, and so I just got to start weaving things in and fleshing it out and expanding. So, alright, it's me, Angel Leya, and if you like this, go ahead and subscribe and like and share with your friends, and hopefully it helps you, and hopefully it helps me. So, alright, thanks.